Lori here. I'm here today to talk about another series that I read in the month of September, and that is the Legacy of Kings series, Blood of Gods and Heroes, I think the series is called. But I'm actually going to be talking about two things. I'm going to be talking about the prequel novella called Voice of Gods, and this is free if you download it on your Kindle, and it's like 150 pages. But I consider this necessary reading for the series because it will make the entire series a lot better. And it will make a lot more sense, especially like the more of the past elements. And then I also read Legacy of Kings by Eleanor. So Voice of Gods takes place in the past, and it follows basically two characters. It follows the character of Myrtle, and it follows the character of Helen, and it follows the character of Alta. I think that's how you pronounce her name. So there's these three girls, and you follow their story, and it isn't until the end of this novella that you really see like how this book really will shape Legacy of Kings. And at the end of Legacy of Kings, you will see just how much of an impact this has really had on Legacy of Kings. So I really consider it necessary reading, but it's a really fast-paced, quick book, but you get a lot of information in it. So I really consider it necessary because by the end of this, you're like, I have no idea what this has to do with anybody. And then once you start reading Legacy of Kings, you're like, oh. Then it makes a lot more sense. So it's a really, really fast read, but it's really, really, and I really consider it necessary because you learn a little bit about everything that you're going to need for Legacy of Kings. And it's free on your Kindle, so if you're going to invest the time and read Legacy of Kings, I highly recommend you also read Voice of Gods. Both really, really good. I haven't mentioned this before, but the author Eleanor Herman is actually like a real-life historian. She wrote many, many historical books, like on Amazon and stuff. So it takes place in the time of Alexander the Great. So it's a lot of like history thrown with magic created in like a young adult world. It's very, very Game of Thrones-esque, but unlike recent books I've read this year, it is much more unique and much more different, and it's much, much more streamlined. So I really highly recommend it. Now let's get talking about Legacy of Kings. Legacy of Kings follows these three characters. You follow Alexander the Great, which is a young Alexander the Great. You follow Kat, who is this girl who lives in a small village, and her foster brother winds up getting sent to go doing this tournament, and she kind of tags along. They both get swept up into this court life. And then you have this character of Zoe, who's a runaway princess who doesn't want to marry Alexander. So the Alexander the Great storyline and Kat's storyline, along with Jacob, who's her foster brother, they're really, really interconnected, and you get all their point of views. So those three stories are super, super connected, and it's really, really interesting to see how they affect each other. You also have other characters like Alexander's stepsister, and the parents play a very, very big part in this role, especially Olympia. So, and Olympia you also met in Voice of Gods, which is why I really think if you want to understand her logic and her motivations, really read that because it really impacts it a lot. But it was a sweeping story, and I was so engrossed. Zoe's story didn't really add a whole lot to the book because even though she's going to marry Alexander, it hasn't hit like the point where they interconnect yet. They're talking about it, but there's no real interaction. So I'd be super excited for book 2 to see how Zoe's story will really impact the further future, especially because what was revealed in the book that is going on with Zoe. So I'll be really intrigued to see how that influences the novel in the future. But for the moment, they're kind of like a few stories that are really connected, and then Zoe's story. But I really like all the characters. They were very, very, very fast paced, and there's a twist at the end about Alex and Kat that you don't really see coming. I kind of did because they kind of foreshadowed it a little bit, but I'll be really excited to see how that will impact everything. They had like a few romantic possibilities in the first book, so I was excited to see who actually becomes a couple in the second book. And I really want to know more about the magic. There's smoke magic, earth magic, and snake blood, I think, and those are the magics that really impact the story. And it's a very, very complex, but really, really unique. I think that everyone's kind of wants to get on the Game of Thrones bandwagon, but this book just really like made it so creative how it was built, how the world was built and created. So I really, really highly enjoyed it. Cannot wait for the next book, and I really hope you guys will read it. As always, comment below. Let me know what you guys think about it, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of a discussion. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later.